team, and welcome to the Everyone Active podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jo, and today I'm back. Yes, I'm your other host, Michelle. How are you? I know. Good. What have you been doing?
I've been lots of training, lots of aqua trainings, but I think the filmings that I've missed, I think I've been filming the EA Reformer Ignite content, which is really exciting. So that's where I've been.
Come again, the what?
It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
EA Reformer Ignite is our brand. So
you mean we've got Reformer Studios?
At the minute we have one. There's another one launching imminently and more to come down the line. So I'm just busy training the team.
Because you are our master trainer for it.
Allegedly.
You and Steph. Say hello to Steph.
Hi, Steph. Yes, so Steph and I sort of sit in a huddle a lot of the time on a reformer bed, which sounds bizarre, but obviously I don't have one in my house.
Yes.
Rude. So we have to sit and huddle a lot. So that's where I've been, and then filming and so.
When you're filming Reformer...
Yes.
I'm guessing the cameras are only one side of you. So are you like really working one side and then you wake up the next day and you've got DOMs
and
on
it's so funny because the way that it works is that Steph didn't want to be the talky person, so she thought I might like to do that. Shock.
What's that about?
So Steph is the demo girl, plus she's young and she can do things. I'm just, I just stand there. So I'm talking through what people should be doing. So Steph is doing the exercises and then she does get DOMs on one side, which is hilarious.
Oh, dearie
Bless
me.
her. But,
But what a great product.
It's amazing and it's really exciting, really exciting. So, we've been doing the music and we've commissioned lots of music for it and stuff. So, it's cool.
Well, welcome back. And today...
Now, we're talking about something exciting, aren't we, today?
Really exciting.
And it was something that I'd not heard of until this, really. So, yes, tell the viewers and the listeners what we're talking about.
We are today going to talk about geographical blue zones.
Now, it's good that you said that because when we said it, I said, blue zone training, thinking we were talking about heart rate training. Well, no. We're not talking about that.
No. We're talking about geographical blue zones.
Yes.
So geographical blue zones are areas of the world where centurions, basically people that reach the age of 100, are very common.
And they're thriving in these communities, aren't they?
But also, midlife diseases are a lot less in terms of percentage of the population compared to the UK and America. So, there's been scientific studies.
And these are little clusters, aren't they, around the world that we've identified. I've written some of them down. So we've got Okinawa in Japan.
Yes.
Sardinia. I'd love to go to Sardinia.
Yeah, have you been? No, it's on my to-dos.
I think we should go on a field trip in research.
Hi.
Expenses.
Please send us.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Greece.
Absolutely. Yes, Greece.
Costa Rica, I've got written down.
Yeah, Costa Rica.
So there's little clusters, aren't there?
Tiny little clusters, which is just amazing. And I love learning about populations and their longevity. Yeah. And it's really their longevity of wellness, which, I love talking about. Our new U Plus membership, which I'll just thrive on as well. So U Plus membership for anybody that hasn't heard yet, or indeed listened to any of the podcasts.
And if you haven't,
live webinars.
How rude.
Jump on board. You can jump on board
Come
now.
on now.
So us as Everyone Active, we know that we do movement really, really well.
Yeah.
But we have had this big old kind of, do you know what? We need to do wellness better.
Yeah.
So we now have a whole new philosophy. We've got a whole new membership type. We've got a whole new advisor on our board. Goes by the name of Ollie Patrick.
We love Ollie. Hi, Ollie.
And we have, launched U Plus, Everyone Active U Plus, where we talk about social wellness, sleep, brain health.
Yeah.
And this is so predominant when we start
I
looking
think
at...
the thing with this is that we're giving people, you sometimes jump on board these things and people just throw information at you, but you don't actually know how to practically put that into play, do you? So this is what's good about this, I think.
Yeah, really, massively good point. It's exactly what happens on U Plus, because we'll be sitting down with a consultation and then each week you get fed a tiny bit of information, not an overload of flooding your senses, a tiny bit of information on how if you just change this one behaviour, then in 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time, 5 weeks' time, your overall wellness will start to see a shift.
Yeah.
And that's what we can talk about, these blue zone countries. Oh, my goodness.
So this is a guy called Dan... No, is that correct?
Yes.
I've done my homework today.
You have?
Come on now.
So he is an adventurer.
Yeah.
A bit like a Tim who we had running the world.
Yes.
So he's done ultras, he's done absolutely obscure treks. he is that kind of finder and discoverer.
And he worked with National Geographic, didn't he, as well with this, which is interesting.
Yeah. And then we should probably say this is a series that he was commissioned by Netflix, and it was popped on Netflix, and it's called, Blue Zones or Longevity or Centurions, How to Get There. And he's visited populations in each of these areas to try and find common denominators.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's the commonality, isn't it, with it all, yeah.
Yes. And the common denominators about how that midlife disease isn't prominent, and centurions are literally rocking life out there.
But I think what's interesting is it's not just one or two, is it? This is like a lot of people reaching that age. And as you say, naturally passing away of just old age rather than having some sort of chronic disease or anything like that.
Completely. So when we were doing the U+ training, one of our personal trainers over at Cotlandswick,
Hi,
is actually from Okinawa in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yes. And she was like, this is absolutely true. She had, she's still got a 105-year-old grandmother.
Wow.
Who is very active, lives by her own, fields her own vegetables. Every 3 months, I think she says it was, there's a social wellness movement where all of the older adults go on a little holiday together.
Oh.
Go on a little 4-day trip, go on a little weekend trip.
Do they?
Yes, 104.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? And she was saying, like, it's really interesting to talk, and who knows, we might get her on maybe at some point to do an even more in-depth, but really interesting about how she moved to the UK, and the UK diet is so polar opposite.
Yeah.
And we do have to do a little nod to the fact that we're talking about the populations that have lived in those areas for
generations
and generations.
Yeah.
So they're bred there, they've been brought up on the land there.
Yeah.
But her family has been in Okinawa for ever and ever. And her transition to UK living, and the first thing she said was, it's amazing how much protein we seem to derive from meat.
Yes.
Rather than
plant-based things. Yeah.
Plant-based, and it's the plant-based that mix together to create the amino acids that our body needs.
Yeah.
Yes, granted, an animal meat will give you that straight away, but it was the mix of plants to get that mix of amino acids, or fish. And it was just like, oh yeah, and it's only when you start really looking in a little bit deeper about these populations, like there isn't heart disease, there isn't type 2 diabetes, there isn't, and it's a why.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the places I really want to talk about, just because we're kind of doing a little nod to your Mediterranean heritage.
Hello there.
Where are you from, Mishi?
I'm from Cyprus.
Yay! So just kind of slightly over the water a little bit.
Slightly over the water, but yeah, so I can looking at their diet, it totally makes sense as to exactly how that could work.
So we're talking about an area in Greece, and
this is Icaria, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Icaria. Nah. I'm not going to speak Greek on the podcast.
Yeah, go on, say it. You've got the accent. I don't want to say the place name.
I think it's Icaria.
Oh, love the accent. And they are generational working on the land.
Yep.
They're generational making, baking own food. They're farming their own animals, and they're not really importing anything. So everything is incredibly seasonal.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
And the huge point as well, and I thought it was just beautiful when people are studying it, is that they won't sacrifice, and you say this every time you go there and you meet up with your family, they won't sacrifice missing out on family and social time.
Community, yeah, 100%.
Have you had experience like that?
Oh my goodness. So my family is based mainly in Nicosia, and there's lots of us. There's lots of us in Cyprus, is all I'll say. And every Sunday, everyone convenes on who's now the elder of the family. Everyone's there. And there's like, I'm talking 40, 50 people.
40, 50 people?
Yeah.
But of all generations?
100%. So when I was there, I took the boys, gosh, it must have been maybe this time last year, and they hadn't been for a few years. My boys, I tend to go, but the boys hadn't been. And they were actually quite overwhelmed with the fact that there were so many generations, and they were kind of like, wait now, what? And I said, well, don't think this is for you. This happens every week. And they were like, oh. So, but again, it's that whole family. It's everything is family.
And that was some of the scientific research that came out of it, was that you have got the centurions mixing with the teenagers. So you've got the implant of knowledge from generations above you all the way down, but it's also the like buzz and fizz of the younger generations.
Yeah, 100%.
Keeping the older generations.
100%. We call it returning to the mothership. That's what we say in the family.
Oh,
We're returning to the
that.
mothership. Yeah.
And also you did mention it was run by the matriarch of the family.
100%. So it used to be my dad. And then he, bless him, passed away. And so now it's my Auntie Christina, and you do not mess with Auntie Christina and Auntie Ellie as well. You just don't mess with them.
And tell me about the food. Is it like a celebration? Do people bring bits? Or
we all bring things. I'm not allowed to if I'm a guest, but yeah, everyone brings things. And it is very much, there'll be my cousin Yanni, who will be always doing the barbecue, and he'll be doing whatever he wants to do on that. But everyone brings something along to it, and we all, it's amazing.
And I'm also going to guess as well, most of it's fresh produce.
All fresh produce.
Whatever's in season
Absolutely.
at the time you're doing it.
100%, yeah. And it will be, exactly that. All very seasonal.
And when we start thinking about that, I love thinking about bits like this. And when we talk about U+ as well, that kind of ticks social wellness, but it also ticks that nutrition, is that we can and should probably be living seasonally.
Seasonally, yeah.
We used to. Yeah. Like the world around us has changed, and we've started to create a piece of technology that now can do everything that we were designed as humans to do.
Yeah.
Like even turning on the TV, you don't need to even move anymore. And when we're talking about these blue zone areas, and it was apparent in every single one of them, the social wellness box was massively ticked. But the nutrition was so relevant to the seasons that they're in. And I think it's actually the place in Greece, doesn't have its own standalone port. So from way back in ancient Greek time, they became totally self-sufficient because there wasn't a ship of something coming in. And I just think it's so fascinating.
It's very interesting, isn't it? But I also think the fact that a lot of these people are working their own land as well. So you've got that, you're involved in it from the very beginning, aren't you?
Yeah.
And they're getting that whole movement in because they're doing gardening and things like that.
Huge one. I mean, when you watch the series and when you go and watch the series, read the scientific research that happens behind it as well, is because you're moving all day, they're in a constant, and they don't talk about calories at all because you are constantly moving. You are constantly doing what we are designed to do. We are moving our cardiovascular system. We are breathing and our heart rate's going. Yeah. And by just doing purely functional exercises, be that walking the sheep up the mountain.
Yeah, or just doing their chores.
Yes. Climate. Did you see the episode where the ladies, I think it was in the Costa Rican episode, and they are grinding to make the bread, grinding corn. So they've got 3 different types of plant-based products that all go together that create the aminos that we need for that protein.
Wow.
And the amount of work that just goes into they had guns of steel.
Really?
Oh my gosh. And you just think, that's just what that's day-to-day living. That is making and baking.
Yeah.
Home-produced, natural, non-chemically modified, ultra-processed food. It's literally living off the land.
I love that. And I love the fact that they combine that with the fact that their focus is on family and the community and how they can work together as a community. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely and completely. Another huge thing, sleep. Do you know, Michelle, that, actually, I'm going to quiz you. Do you know, what's the average amount of sleep in the UK?
Oh, God, I dread to think it's bad, isn't it? Is it about 6 hours or something?
Yes, about 6 hours and 20 minutes when we ideally should be having 7 to 9 hours. And that's to process everything from our brain, but it's also to let our body repair and recover, get us ready. That in the areas of the blue zone, 100% they're getting that. Without a shadow, they are going to bed at sunset. But they are up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and from 5 o'clock till 11 o'clock, they've done the work. And when we say they are up and doing their work, we're going to go to Costa Rica.
Take us there.
104-year-old farmer who is up on his horse at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Rounding up the sheep. And it's because the sun is rising at that time. So his circadian rhythm in his body is so used to him waking up. And the biggest thing as well is he's got a purpose to wake up.
That's another key thing for these communities, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a brain health.
Yeah.
That's brain health and that's grit, is that you've got a sense of purpose. And when we talk about our older generations, we'll probably see a movement where actually people are moving into retirement homes or care homes, where you'll see the social aspects of those are so important to keeping people going. But these are centurions that are still surrounded by their family, that are still doing the jobs they were doing.
Yeah.
Because that 40 to 60-year-old bracket, they haven't had the diabetes hit them, they haven't had the heart disease hit them. We should say it's not apparent throughout the whole area, but the percentage compared to the population in the UK or the US is significantly lower.
It is quite startling, isn't it, what the difference is in it, isn't it?
Yeah, massively different, hugely different. And another big thing, I just keep thinking about all of these things. In each of the areas, they really focus on drinking or eating the specific herbs and spices that are grown naturally in
that area. Yeah.
And whether it's a tea or whether they use it in a wine, but it's there and it's not chemically modified, and it's generational knowledge of how to blend the tea, how long you're brewing it for.
Yeah.
And we don't tend to
we don't
think about this.
No, we don't.
If I'm talking about right here, 2025, I love a herbal tea, but I'm not thinking about what the herbal tea is actually doing in my body.
No, but I don't think we do we?
No, but we probably should.
We should, 100% we should.
Because we're sitting here and I know full well that if I had lavender or chamomile, that is actually going to start relaxing my body and work with my melatonin and start relaxing me ready for sleep.
Yeah.
But we're just so
we're just conditioned, aren't we, that we have to go, exactly.
So in blue zone countries, when they're talking about sleep, it's so important. But also, they're not afraid to nap.
Right, wait now. Are you talking a little nana nap?
We're talking nana naps.
I love a nana nap.
Nana nap. Do you know what? Nana naps are actually proven to be,
Yeah, I'm going to tell everyone
they're good. Do you know how to nap properly?
I don't think I do. Tell me.
So napping, we want to make sure that we're not falling into a deep, deep sleep.
Okay.
So we're literally napping. We're letting our body have a little bit of rest. If you don't put your pajamas on.
Oh, I love my PJs.
Don't get into an actual bed.
Oh.
Maybe sit on a comfy chair, stay dressed, but hold like a pen or some keys in your hand.
Right, okay.
And the moment
I'm going to nap now. Hold on, go on.
You probably will. The moment you drop them from your hand, you'll hear the bang, something's going to wake you up, and that will wake you up. Because the moment you drop it, your body is now ready to go into a deeper sleep.
Interesting.
And we want to keep you in the benefits of the naps.
Interesting.
Let's go back to the family heritage.
Yes, sorry, hello, how may I help you?
Siestas, obviously we might associate with the Mediterranenean.
Yes.
Does it happen?
100%. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. 2-3 hours in the middle of the day.
That's not a nap.
That's a good old sleep.
It's a proper sleep.
Yeah, I like a little sleep in the middle of the day. But it's just so hot as well, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Very true. I suppose it's slightly different if it's in the winter climate.
Talking in Cyprus and Nicosia in the summer, it's 48 degrees sometimes.
Oh, well, then you physically can't actually be out in it and working in it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
a little nap time's definitely there.
Yeah.
So we've talked about how these different communities obviously are thriving.
Yep.
But how can we? Right here, so we're in Harpenden, High Harpenden.
Massively.
How can we implement some of these things in our lives, and how's U+ going to help us do that?
Huge point, Mish. Like, we don't want to overwhelm anybody.
No.
Because if we told you need to go in this and this and this and this, the chances of you doing any of it are zero.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty zero. If you are listening to the podcast and you're not an Everyone Active U+ member, top tips that we can do.
Go. Give us
Ready?
3 top tips.
3 top tips.
Have you got 3?
Yes.
Okay, first one.
Hydration.
Excellent.
But from water or herbal teas.
Okay.
Not from caffeinated things that come out of a can.
Okay, did you hear that, everyone?
Just saying. Top tip number 1.
Okay.
Top tip number 2, belong. Have a sense of purpose. Help out a community group. Know that you're going to meet friends in the gym.
Yeah.
Know that you're
Could
going
it be something as simple as like walking your dogs with other people that walk their dogs?
100%.
So it doesn't even have to mean that you've got to go and join anywhere. It could literally just be like a walk.
And you've now just ticked my third top tip. Get outside.
Yeah.
Honestly, get outside.
Vitamin D.
All of these areas that have been studied, people are outside, they are moving, they are growing, they are socialising, but it's the whole point that humans have an innate connection with nature.
Yeah.
And we are sitting in cars, or we're sitting in trains, or we're sitting in an office, or we're just indoors, but we are designed to be outdoors.
Yeah.
And so that would be 3 easy top tips that you can do.
And if
hydration.
And if, for example, you're in an office,
Yep.
You can't get out and, walk in the daytime, blah, 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 whatever. You could maybe do like walking meetings where you're standing doing that kind of thing. Now, it's really funny because years ago when I used to have a corporate job,
Yep.
I used to work in Procter & Gamble and we had walking meetings, and I'm going back 25 years.
Yep.
So, and at the time I was thinking, this is crazy. But again, it's really become quite popular, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like having a little full circle again.
Yeah.
But yes, social aspects. There will be a social something. If not, be the person that creates it.
Yeah.
Be that change.
Be a
Start
pioneer.
that little walking club and start doing it. But they are top tips. But relating back to Blue Zones and the U Plus membership as a whole, when you are a member and when you're on that journey,
Yeah.
we will be able to talk to you about behaviours in regards to brain and grit and strength. And we will be able to talk to you about sleep, not just nap time, but quality of sleep and sleep hygiene. We'll absolutely talk to you about nutrition. We'll absolutely talk to you about movement. But just remember, we are born to move.
Yeah.
So it always makes me giggle, and it happens every time. If ever I'm here early in the morning to come to the gym, all the car parking spaces nearest the leisure centre are full.
I know.
I'm like, you've come to a gym, park in the top of the car park. Or do you know what? Just walk to the gym,
yeah.
and that's your warm-up.
But another thing that I think is really important in these little pockets of the communities is how are they dealing with everyday stresses?
Yes. Oh my gosh, completely and utterly massive point, and I'm glad that you said that. So we can talk about it from a UK perspective, and we can talk about what's happening in the UK. We are seeing a massive, massive rise in not just like lifestyle diseases, but mental health.
Mental health, I mean, yeah. And it's actually quite worrying. I was speaking, sorry to interrupt you, I was speaking to my GP referral manager at my site, and she was saying that it's really quite alarming that people that are now getting referred as GP referral are no longer people with physical things that are happening. It's mental.
Yes.
It's all mental health stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really sad.
I'm not in any which way, shape or form a psychologist, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm trying not to generalise in any which way, shape or form. But we've started to really isolate people.
Yeah, agree.
And we've maybe pushed them to a phone or pushed them to a computer screen. Whereas if you looked at these Blue Zone communities, someone will know instantly if you're not okay within 24 to 48 hours. And someone is there and someone is with you. And a huge thing that happens, and it's the Costa Rican study, is from a really young age, they are spot on with making sure they're getting the correct nutrients and they're spot on with their hydration. But they're also, it's the social aspect that's huge. So stress management isn't really a thing because it's never created. Nobody's ever lost in society. Nobody's ever overworked.
So it doesn't kind of get to that point where it's actually an issue. Is that what you mean?
And the biggest point that we said earlier is nobody will sacrifice family time, social time, fun time for that 10 minutes of a work deadline. It just does not happen. And when we talk about stress now and today, it can be anything from family time. Yeah. It can be work deadlines, but it can also be just because we haven't moved our bodies. Yeah. And we've not let our bodies do what it does.
What it's designed to do as well.
And we're not being outside. So yes, stress management in these countries is pretty much not there because you've got the community looking out for you from dot.
I love that.
So good. I mean, we were a prime example when we walked in here. I was like, hi, Nishi. So I guess really top tip from that is find your tribe.
I was just going to say that.
We're so alike. Couldn't tell. Yeah, find your tribe, totally. And it might not be somebody it might not be a member of your family. Yeah. It might be somebody that you gym buddy with. And that gym buddy is going to keep you accountable. And on the flip side, you are going to keep them accountable. And it might not even be going to the gym. It might be, do you fancy going to the library and picking out a new book?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Meet me down the high street, I've just done my shopping, let's walk back.
Like anything, those little things, isn't it?
Yeah, it is that.
Oh, I love it.
And also the hard physical labour that happens outside. So be it grinding that corn to make the bread, be it herding the sheep up the hill, be it having to walk a mile to get to your neighbour, it's grit. And it's the development of grit, and it's knowing that actually our bodies can do hard things.
They can do hard things,
and it's just not to be afraid of it. When we've been doing our member surveys, one of the biggest things that has come back that people aren't doing is they're not they're not walking, they're 10,000 steps a day.
Oh.
So 10,000 steps is pretty much probably 4.5-ish miles. Like if you turn around to somebody and be like, have you walked 4.5 miles today? They'll be like, no.
Really?
Yeah, but guess what? Your body needs it.
Yeah.
Your body needs to move. Your digestive system needs it. Your immune system needs it. Not just your musculoskeletal system.
Gosh, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
The form of stress management just isn't really relevant because of the lifestyles that they're leading.
I love how we're now getting this information back from these, we've only just recently launched U+, but already we're getting this data back, aren't we? Which is interesting.
Yeah, really, really fascinating. I should just do a little footnote in here as well. When we've spoken about the blue zones, and it's probably a little bit to kind of go, is that yes, they will have a wine, and yes, it's very locally produced, but the difference is, and I think that is the difference, is it's locally produced without anything added into it.
Yeah.
Because we've got no scientific studies that say alcohol actually aids any form of sleep.
Yeah.
It's a disruptor to sleep. It actually stresses your body. So that is if you're watching this and you're like, oh, see, glass of wine, actually do the bigger scientific study behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. It's so exciting.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
So watch the series on Netflix is our go-to, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you've got any questions about anything to do with the U+ things, obviously get in touch with your coaches.
Yeah, 100%. And just stick to those top tips, team.
Yes.
Hydration. Think about what you're eating and move.
With a friend.
Love you.
Oh, yeah, it's nice to see you.
And you, my lovely. So team, yes, thank you so much for listening. Get out there, do your research, understand what being human is. And if you are in a pickle, reach out to us.
And if you've watched the series on Netflix, or when you watch the series on Netflix, pop us a message. We'd love to hear what you think about it. And if you've got any questions, can I remember the email address? Yes, I can. podcast@everyoneactive.com. Boom, she's still got it.
Yes, she has. So team, thank you so, so much for listening. We will see you again soon. But remember, leave us a little review. Definitely leave us comments.
Yes, please. Thumbs up and share with your friends. Share the love.
Do. Take care, team, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.